Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 4 of the van build series. Part 3, we kind of talked about putting replacing spark plugs, spark plug wires, distributor cap and strap rotor, so we can kind of, tune it up and all that. This video is going to be continued of that part with some other stuff because we're going to try to see if we can actually get the van running today. So a couple things we had to do today. New battery. The old battery is completely junked. Gonna put new oil in the engine, new battery cable terminals. It's an oil filter right here. I actually have a new ignition coil for it. So right here is the new ignition coil, and it'll be a pretty simple install. So we'll do that ahead. And then we have a ton of starting fluid for the car. So we're gonna go ahead and spray it and see if we can try to get some spark and hopefully try to get the engine turning over. When we are going to do the oil change, we're going to use something called mystery oil. It's an old trick they used to use back in the day for these older things. So here it is. Mystery oil looks like this. You can get it anywhere for the most part. And it helps, it's a very thin viscosity of oil. So it'll help penetrate all of the small moving parts of the engine and help lubricate it so if there's any, corrosion or anything like that. The mystery oil will help penetrate it and help prolong the longevity of that engine. Hopefully. So, $10 can't hurt to see if it's to help your engine or not. So we're gonna go ahead and it's a fuel additive, so you can add in the fuel. You can also put some of it in the oil as well. So I'm gonna do a little bit of both. And I'm gonna go ahead and prime the engine so the engine turns. It already turns over. I've had it starting off all the original stuff with just spray. So this is the right way of doing things. So we will cut to that. So right now we're actually going to go ahead and change the oil on this thing. This thing hasn't been the oil changed on it for many years, so you can learn a lot of things from the oil. And this one's actually calling for a huge 7/8 drain plug. So I'm going to go ahead and try to snap this bolt. Not snap it, but there you go. A little bit loose. Go a little more. Just take this thing off. Okay, it's a little bit loose. I'm gonna hold in and do the rest with my hand. So right now you're gonna see oil. Now oil looks pretty clean, so the owners before me has probably changed it, but I'm gonna go ahead and change it again because oil doesn't like to sit. So I'll let that drain. So since we drained the oil already, we're gonna have to go ahead and remove the oil filter. It's a big oil filter, so I got a 94mm filter wrench. It's like a little socket for it. I just used a wrench and it just broke on me, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the socket. I'm gonna go over here and just kind of throw it on, kind of get it on like that. This kind of doesn't want to stick, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Make sure it's on loose end, and I'm gonna go over here. Actually, I have to go for the bottom of it, so I'll go ahead and I'll cut to that. I'm just gonna go ahead and drain the oil and put new oil in. This engine, since it's a 360, it's not a 318. It calls for 5 quarts of, I think, 10W30. Whatever oil I have there, I did the research earlier. And you go over here, you can put the oil in this thing. So, a little funnel, drain all the oil into that hole right there. So the whole, all 5 quarts of the thing. So I'll cut to that and the oil change will be done. And we're back. We're actually back the next day because it got really late last night. I actually had a huge problem last night with changing the oil on this thing. So the original owner or whoever did the oil change last on this thing took the oil filter, and right now you can see that I've got the new one in there already. It's all set, pretty much just corkscrew and all that. When you put oil filters on your engine, you're only supposed to do it hand tight. You're not supposed to use any tools at all with putting the oil filter on. And the last person that did this clearly used a tool, and I had to go over here and cut up the oil filter. Yeah, so that's the oil filter right there. I already removed all the cloth inside of it, but yeah, I had to cut it open and hammered it out. When you put your oil filter on, guys, all you're supposed to do is hand tight. That's all you got to do, but it makes an oil change a 30-minute job into like a 3-hour job. But we're here the next day, and I'm gonna go ahead and put some oil into the engine, some fresh oil. So this engine, since it's a 360, it calls for 5 quarts of 10W30, and make sure you don't get the full synthetic because it's an old engine. So make sure you get the conventional, so not full synthetic. And I told you I'm gonna be using some of this Mr. Oil, old trick back in the day. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in the 5 quarts of oil and put in a splash of Mr. Oil in the top of the the heads. So right here you can tell I'm gonna put some right here, and then I'm also gonna put some in where the oil goes and the oil filter spouts. So like I told you, the thinner viscosity is gonna help, you know, improve the lubrication of your engine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the oil in, and I'll cut to that. So now I've added the oil in it. The calls for 5 quarts. I put 5 quarts of oil, and I put a little bit of mystery oil. So like I said, it can help the engine a little better. Putting the engine oil cap back on. The dipstick's right here. So I'll check the level of the oil if I need more, if I need less. But here is the new battery that I installed in the new terminals. So I pretty much just cut the old terminals off and kind of open up the wire a little bit, and look at that, nice, new, clean, and a whole lot of dirty. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the new ignition coil, because that is needed to start, because that one is a little bit old. So I just want to show you real quick. That's what is inside the oil filter, because I had to rip that one open. So I'm gonna go around because a lot of stuff over there. But yeah, the ignition coil is right here. So right here you see you have your distributor cap shown in the video earlier before this, and you have your ignition coil right here. Oh, that cat's coming out of the engine bay. How you doing, Shoshana? Okay, so right here is you have your ignition coil right here. Shoshana, get out of here. So you have your ignition coil right here, and I've got the new one in this box right here. So you can see right here the ignition coil, you're going to have a negative and a positive, and you can kind of see right here on the wires. You can just pull them off and put it back on. See this little cap right here, this wire going from the middle of the distributor to the ignition coil itself. You're going to want to put that back in the same spot. And then you just got like a little small mounting bracket right here. So, you know, you just take that bolt out, this mounting bracket will come off, and you can go ahead and put the new ignition coil on. So I'll cut to that, and the new ignition coil should be back on. Okay, I got my little headset right here. So I'm actually going to show you. This is the new ignition coil right here. So I got the new wires on it. I got the new spark plug wire going to it. So it's all ready, set to go. So in essence, this thing's actually ready to start. So let's sit back here. I got my engine start right here. So this is perfect for starting something that has been sitting for a long time. There's also different variants, like there's one right here, engine starting fluid and carbon choke. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray the top of this thing a little bit, and then turn the key. So I'm spraying it, and then I'm gonna turn the key. Oh, there you go, it's running. Ooh. You hear it, it's running now. Okay, that's good. That's good. See, it's running. It is really smoking up. And you see that the fan belt is going on. It's shaking a little bit. But yeah, the van is running now. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off. Wow, that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the little head mount I have right here. Sorry for the little sound, it should be making quite a bit of sound. I'll pull this thing off. So there you go. So yeah, after, sorry, my hair's probably a mess now. So yeah, after 15 years, this thing ran, and it was idling. It was idling okay a little bit. It was idling a little rough, but I went ahead and I'm gonna change more stuff. But you can see that sound, where that sound was coming from. It's right there. So right here is your two belts right here, and they're not even on. It's probably really dark for you guys to see, but there's two belts, and the two belts go to the alternator and the AC compressor for air conditioning, and they're not even hooked up right now, so they're kind of just like flailing around like crazy in there. So yeah, that's that sound. But it ran. It ran pretty good, and it was idling pretty good. So we know the van works, and so I can continue on the journey of making it run better and look better. So yeah, that's going to conclude the video. So, you know, if you liked it, like, comment. You know, I always read the comments, so go ahead and comment. And if you want to see more of this, subscribe. So yeah, it's a big mark in the Van Builds series that it's finally running now. So I'm going to go ahead and dial it in and make it run really, really good. Until next time, see you guys later.